Greetings, Craftalyticans. Happy New Year. We made it. We made it through 2022. We are now in 2023. We can all breathe a little bit, I think. It's time for something new. It is time for something new. I was going to record a video, but I decided to go live. No one knows I'm live. I don't think anyone's going to join in because it's 1:30, the day after the morning, day after the night before, for a lot of people. And also it's very early morning over in the States where a lot of my viewers are. But join in whenever you can. Right? Join in whenever you can. My name is Andy. This is Craftalytical. And I wanted to talk to you just a little bit about my year last year, what I'm up to today, and what is going to happen this year. I can now say that. So this channel has been it's been a creative outlet. YouTube in general has been a creative outlet for me, and it's given me a chance to connect to people who I would never have met. I've made some really great online friends through communities, and I have learned a lot. I have learned through the misfortune of others. From Kurt at Uncivil Law, I have learned about Trials of the Century. From Scott Cardinal and Lauren Lumber, I've learned about Canadian law as well as Trials of the Century from Runkle of the Bailey. I have enjoyed learning about UK law from Black Belt Barrister. I've kept up with something I have never done before is keep up with celebrity news through Popcorn Planet and Nerd Reports. I've dabbled a little bit in listening to people or watching people talking about true crime. Again, Nerd Report does a really great job of that. But and I have also stepped away from some creators. I'm one of those people, I love hearing the other side. I love listening to the other argument, and there is an awful lot that I can let go. But I have stepped away from some creators this year who, although they create amazing content in many, many ways, have very regressive views about LGBTQ issues, about trans rights, about women's rights. People who have stood up for Andrew Tate and his hate speech against women, and his dangerous rhetoric, full stop, but then unleashed at Kanye West for his hate speech against the Jewish community and history. And for me, you can't have that both ways. You can't say that hate speech against one set of people is okay, but it's not against another set. So, I have voiced my opinions, and then I have stepped away. And I think that's healthy. I think it's healthy to create boundaries, and it's healthy to listen to the other side. But when you're talking to someone who, no matter what you bring to the conversation, logic, resources, whatever else, just refuses to even hear your side of the argument. I don't expect people to agree with me all of the time, but just hear the argument, and they won't. So stepping away sometimes is the healthy thing to do. I will keep talking about those things in positive lights. I will stand up for people who are marginalized. And I will continue to believe that trans rights are human rights, and science is fact, and all of those things. So if you expect anything else from this channel, you have the absolute right to not watch my videos. That's fine. Anyway, moving on. So this year is going to be a good year. Last year was not. In so many ways. I mean, there were highlights, there were amazing things. I started this channel. I got some advice from other YouTubers. I learned a lot, and I'm really proud of that. My family is flourishing and doing really well. My partner is doing great with his business, and I'm so proud. I am so proud of everyone. Everyone is trying really hard and putting their best in, and that's all we can ask. And I'm really chuffed about that. But there have been some down points, health issues. We all managed to go 2.5 years without catching COVID, and then we got it. And there's been some lasting issues from that. I've had some health issues. I'm now getting specialist care. The specialist appointment just before Christmas was not easy to get through. The rheumatologist cheerfully diagnosed me in a kind of, I'm 100% sure, but we'll do the blood test because we've got to kind of way, diagnose me with something that I was diagnosed with 16 years ago, and what I am struggling with at the moment is something completely different. I am going to get answers. I am going to stand up for myself, and I am going to find out what this is, and get treatment. I am absolutely going to do that. I am manifesting that. We are still trying to go through a house move. And I want this house. I want this house. And it will give us a chance to have a home office, a proper office where I'm not, sat on my bed talking to you, or stood in the kitchen talking to you. I'll be able to do proper video work. And I will have my resources around me, my books and yarn and all of those things around me, and I'll be able to set up properly with an actual microphone and proper lighting and all of those things. And I'm very excited about that, and that is going to happen this year. That I am absolutely going to make that happen. I'm already, I'm imagining myself opening the door and welcoming guests, or waking up in what will be our bedroom, and what it's going to be like, how I'm going to set myself up in my studio area, my work area, what it's going to be like doing silly things like cooking or relaxing in an evening in the living room, all of those things, playing in the garden, growing our own veg, that kind of thing. And I'm taking a leaf out of Amy Goodhart's book. She has a great channel called In the Closet with Amy Goodhart, and she does all sorts of interviews. But she did a video on manifestation, and it's one of those things that if you believe in a higher power or in the universe or whatever else, it can be a spiritual thing. If you believe in the placebo effect and positive mental attitude, thinking, that works too. So it's one of those things. It doesn't have to be airy fairy. If it's kind of fake it until you make it, and that's what I'm going to do. I am taking a leaf out of her book, and I am going to make these things happen this year. I am, absolutely. And that's where you will come in. This is where the thank you comes in. You have given me so much confidence. Just the 25, 26 of you that have subscribed. I can't remember what my subscriber count is now. I think I may have got that wrong. I don't even know where to look for it. Let's have a look at my channel. I will absolutely work this out. 26 of you. So there are 26 of you that believe in me. It's 26 people that are in different countries that some of you I have never met, who have a faith in me and want to hear what I have to say. And I love you. I am so glad you are here for this journey. I didn't get to my 30 before New Year's, but by the end of this year, I'm going to get to 100. It's a modest goal, but I am going to get there. That is something I'm going to manifest. I don't care how long this takes me. This could take me the rest of my life to get to that golden 1,000 people and 4,000 hours of watched, but I will absolutely get there. And it's because of you. And I want to say a huge thank you to all of you that have believed in me, that have sent me words of encouragement, that have commented on my videos, that have, been part of my life since August. I really do appreciate you, and I'm hoping with your help, with your feedback, with your ideas, that we can make something wonderful of this channel. I'm going to have some more interviews, hopefully over the next few weeks, and I'm going to schedule myself time to say, right, I am absolutely going to work on this, because it's been kind of sporadic around health and family and all of those other things. So this year, I am absolutely going to work on that. It'll be easier once we've moved and I've got that studio space. I am manifesting a little bit of money coming in to just fund the channel. I don't need an income from this just yet. I would like an income from this, but let's not lie about it. But I'm manifesting kind of just that little bit of money coming in so I can upgrade my equipment, so I can get editing software, so I can edit some videos to show you what I'm working on and that kind of thing. So that's where you come in. Spread the word, like the videos, subscribe if you haven't, give that notification bell a bit of a tickle, and get involved. Share what I'm doing with people who might enjoy it. You don't have to share every video on Twitter or wherever, but hopefully soon I will be talking with Deb Jones, who is a willow weaver. I could talk to Debs for just days. I love her company, I love her energy, but she has lived so many lives in her time on this earth. She has done so many things and she's amazing, but her creations, her willow weaving is beautiful. And again, she shares my what's the word? Passion. That's it. For creativity being an amazing outlet and a way of healing, and a way of fighting against, society's pressure and lack of brain chemicals and that kind of thing. So I'm looking forward to talking to her, and I hope you do too. She makes me laugh. There will be swears. There will be swears from both of us. So I will continue to thank you. I will continue to thank you. That's better. Because seriously, everyone who watches is appreciated. They really are. And there's 2 of you. Hi. Give me a comment. Let me know who you are and where you're commenting from. Thank you for being here on New Year's Day. I really appreciate you tuning in. Thank you. So that brings me to today. So I don't know whether this is true. I really don't. But my family used to say that whatever you did on New Year's Day would set the tone and would tell you what you would do for the rest of the year. And today has been uncharacteristically, sorry, God, I can't speak. Up until now, it has been a really good day. I got up before the kids. I got a lie-in and got up before the kids. I, was able to make myself a cup of coffee before having to deal with shenanigans. The kids have been really easy to deal with. It's been a fun morning. I managed to do 9 minutes of crochet this morning. I use an app called iHour, and it helps me keep track of how long a specific project takes, or how long I have. Hey, Misty! I haven't seen you in ages. I miss you. I miss you. I did message you recently to see if you were okay, and I didn't hear back from you. I've been worried. I've been worried for a couple of months. I am so glad you are here. I am so glad. Friday night frenzy is so much fun. Trials of the Century. I miss you too. Thank you so much for being here. Oh, I am so, honestly, so relieved that you are okay. I really am. I'm so excited. What was I saying? Yes. So I use an app called iHour, which logs everything, but you set yourself a goal, and it kind of, today I set a goal. It was really optimistic, of 4.5 hours of work. And you pause the counter and it tells you how long it's been paused. And it's been paused for like 3 hours. Got 9 minutes work. It's been paused for 3 hours. But I have managed to do that, and I am here talking to you, and Misty's okay. So, today has been a pretty good day. I'm upbeat, I'm optimistic. I'm getting to do what I love. I'm reconnecting with people I love. It's a good day. And if this is setting the tone for the rest of the year, I am all for it. I am all for it. So what else am I doing today? Well, as I hinted at, I am doing an unboxing of sorts. So I started doing this last year. Not last year, year before. And on New Year's Day, I get the box out. This is all of the labels from all of the yarn and other things that I have used in my creativity over the full 12 months. So on New Year's Day, I get the box out, I count everything. And it's a way of kind of looking back and going, wow, I have achieved a lot this year. Whether it's 4 labels or 400 labels, I've achieved, right? And I was going to count this live. Oh, fantastic, Misty. Yes. You haven't been on Telegram lately, but you're going to look for my message. Yes, send me other ways of contacting you, because I absolutely want to stay in touch. Absolutely. I have really missed your company, and I've been asking after you to see whether anyone else has had contact with you. So I'm so relieved that you are here. Thank you. So I was it's just labels for days. I was going to count these live, and I'm not convinced that is going to be interesting for anyone. So I started bundling them up at some point at the beginning of the year, and my system went awry. Absolutely went awry. But this is this way. Oh, I'm so glad you caught my live as well, sweetheart. I honestly so relieved to hear from you. So I tried to be organized, and it went awry. I'm not sure that counting these live is going to be that interesting. I don't know. How do you feel about it? But yeah, I mean, this all represents just how productive I have been, what I have made, what I've enjoyed doing, and the lessons that I've learned. So these ones at the beginning of the year, this was knurl binding, which I loved learning. I got some kits, or I got a kit and some extra nulls, like the needles that you use, and everything else for Christmas. Not Christmas just gone, Christmas before. And I really loved learning. I really did. The problem that I found was, it turns out that the wool, because historically wool was what you did this with. The wool that I had, that I started the project with, I bought a ton more to finish the project. It was a really big kind of memorial blanket, because, you know, we lost my granddad 3 years ago. 3 years, 4 years, 3 years, Boxing Day just passed. And then my mum and dad passed away 18 months later. So there were, you know, sets of colors for each of them, and it was a really nice idea. But the wool isn't color fast. It's Indian dyed, which gives you these amazing colors because they use natural spices and plant extracts and things like that, but it's not color fast. So when you wash it, it leaches. And that made me really sad. I've not got back to finishing that project, because I don't know what I'm going to do with it. The problem is with kind of naturally dyed fibers, as great as they are, as it moves against whatever it's on. So for instance, this was going to be a big snuggle blanket, but as it moves against your clothes, the sofa, the bed, whatever, it'll leach color onto it. And eventually, with a lot of washing and that kind of thing, it will, sorry, let's start that again. And eventually it will rub off, and you can't get rid of it. So although it's not color fast, once it solidifies onto another fabric, so it's a bit like when you buy a white sofa and you sit down in new jeans, that dye rubs off on the fabric and you're never going to get rid of it. It's going to ruin your furniture. So so yeah, that's where they came from. And you know, lesson learned. I had a great time making this blanket. It's huge. It's just not finished yet. And I learn to double check what I'm using. I mean, you'd think I'd know that, right? You'd think, with all of my years of experience from high-end furniture and fabrics, and, you know, making clothes and fabrics and being a fiber artist and yarns, you'd think I'd know this. You know, it's a bit like doing sample swatches where you were the tension swatches. I don't do that either. I just, you know, go for it. I was a little bit too excited, basically, is what it came down to. So what I'm going to do, because kind of counting all of this up is probably going to be a bit boring, is going to mean I'm silent for a little while. I will do that, and I will do a quick short to say how many labels I have achieved. Last year it was just under or just over 100. I can't remember. I'd have to go back, look through photographs or videos to see whether I did anything about that for one of my other places. I think I probably posted on my crochet Facebook page. Still can't speak. So I'll have to go back and see if I can find that to compare it. But really, that comparison is it's just a comparison, and this is just me. It's not really about that. It's not about being in competition. You know, last year I used 100. This year I want to use, you know, 200 or whatever. It's just about looking back. All of this represents creativity, and you can do this with whatever your passion is, right? It's, you know, keep your invoices for what you've bought, or, you know, labels for acrylic paints, or, you know, the insert cards from paints or pencils or whatever. It is a way of kind of going, okay, well, I went through this much paint. And I'm a facts and figures kind of person. I'm very data driven. So being able to kind of look at this, because last year I worked out, you know, what the weight was and how many yards it was, how many miles that was, because I was fascinated by it. Not because I'm in some kind of competition or I want to be better than anyone else. It's just, you know, I am fascinated by that kind of thing. I'm not a maths person. I don't get maths, but stuff like this, how many stitches that represents, or, you know, whatever else, I am fascinated by. So yeah, I wanted also, sorry, there's labels everywhere now. I also wanted to show you what I'm working on at the moment. So I've spoken before about making blankets. This is all, you know, part of manifesting. I am making things for my new home. I started a blanket. I was knitting it for the spare bed. I used some of the yarn for Christmas presents for the teachers at my kids' school. And then realized that I can't get the same dye batch. So that's been put away until I can replace that yarn. And, you know, buying more yarn at the moment, as much as I want more yarn, is kind of low on the priority list. It can wait. I did get some more warehouse vouchers for Christmas, so that's going to help towards that. So I had to put that blanket away until I can get more yarn to replace things. So I started on the second blanket. This one is going to be for my bedroom, our bedroom. So it's corner to corner. I don't know how well you can see this because I can't see the screen now. But basically, you start at one corner. So I've started down here, and you work backwards and forwards in a diagonal pattern. So what you're working is, it looks like that as you're working it. Now, for years, I didn't really understand corner to corner. So this is the row I'm working on at the moment. And you build. So this bit will go here, and then next bit will go there. For years, I never got corner to corner, and I experimented with it a little bit a little while ago, just to see what it was all about, what the fascination was. There were a lot of people posting on various crochet groups and other things. I was like, you know, I have tried all sorts of things, never done corner to corner. Sorry, Misty. Yeah, I've been thinking about you a lot. You know, several times a week, I'll kind of wonder where you are, see whether you've been online and that kind of thing. Yes, happy new year to you. I love your creativity too. I'm really hoping this is the year that you can get back to yourself, being creative, and, you know, not worrying about being good, just enjoying being in the moment. I am so rooting for that. I know how busy life has been for you, you know, last year. So I am crossed fingers for you. Thank you very much. Thank you for your happy new year and for loving my creativity. So yeah, so corner to corner. I never got the fast, and actually it works up so quickly. It is amazing. I mean, this here, it's I started it, when did I start it? Like the 18th or 19th of December. I took a 6-day break over Christmas, not necessarily by choice. We were looking after a friend's dog, And he took up a lot of my attention. It was impossible to get anything done. Love him to bits, would absolutely look after him again because he's just a really lovely dog. But yeah, so I got back to it, I think on Boxing Day. This only represents kind of 25, 30 hours of work. And that's stop starting like today. I am almost halfway through. It's going to be 7 foot by 7 foot. So it's going to be huge. I've got kind of 18 rows before. So you work it as a triangle, and then once you get to the length that you want it to be, you then bring it back in to make a square or a rectangle or whatever. The nice thing about this, there's a great company, Geeky Graphgans, that's it, who make patterns for you. So if you've got a photograph or a sketch of something you want, you can send it to them and they make the pattern. It's a grid pattern, a bit like you would get from cross stitch or tapestry. Sorry, my mind went blank. And you just follow it. So one of my plans for this year is to make my own. Either do the sketch, do the design work and ask them to turn it into a graph for me, or do that myself, depending on how much time, because it takes time. I don't think people realize just how much time it takes to come up with patterns. I have a Ravelry that has my patterns on it, and it takes a long time to come up with an idea, work on it, test it, write it down, test it again, get other people to test it. You get a lot of people that kind of go, I'm not paying for a pattern. And I understand that. Patterns don't sound like they're cheap. But, I spent over 200 hours making my Remember the Sun cardigan and the pattern. And then I spent hours teaching it. And I honestly think I've not even made 10 pence an hour from the sales of that pattern. So I am working on this. I'm really pleased with how it's coming up. And, I've brought down the idea behind the blanket. The original idea was pretty fancy and that's wonderful. But after the disappointment of realizing that I didn't have enough yarn to finish the other blanket and everything else, I thought, right, I'm going to bring this down. There is nothing wrong with kind of simplifying an idea to give yourself that win. And honestly, the happy chemicals that have come out of this, because with each color change and every time I measure it, there is that tangible moment where you kind of go, I am making progress. I am doing this. And I think, I need a palette cleanser. I'm a big fan of a palette cleanser. So you do something really complicated or something that takes a lot of brain space or time. And then once you're done with that, do a little project or something that you know is going to be really quick. Because it clears the mind. It refreshes you. And it helps, because you're doing something with your hands, you're concentrating on something that you've done before, that you have experience with, that you're not so nervous about. Your hindbrain can work through what comes next, whether that's in your creativity or life, or if you've got something that you're trying to deal with, it lets the back of your mind just work through that, and you'll find that there's some inspiration there. At least that's how my brain works. That's how my brain works. So this is a really nice palette cleanser. I love how it's turning out. It's thick, it's warm. My word, is it warm on my lap as I'm working it? I really, I'm really getting a lot out of it. And I think sometimes you do need to bring it down and just enjoy what you're doing, be in the moment. The other thing I will recommend, so for Christmas, we got the kids some kinetic sand. Um, they can build sandcastles or whatever else, and it just gets tidied away in its own box, and it's loads of fun as an adult. Like, seriously, I'm thinking of getting some for my adult friends this year for their birthdays. It's relatively cheap. I mean, everything costs money. Everything is difficult right now. I completely understand that. But if you're looking for a gift that is £15 or less, then kinetic sand is your friend. You can get bags of it or you can get kits. So there's, a fossil hunting kit where you remove the sand and there's dinosaur bones and stuff like that, or building sand castles, or there's a mermaid kit, there's all sorts. Honestly, great way to be creative. It's all self-contained, and it's really tactile. So not only are you creating, there's something comforting about it. You can pick it up and it kind of drips from your hand, but it also molds really nicely. It's very weird. It's a bit like working with non-Newtonian fluid, but not. And there's something really satisfying about it, and it doesn't feel the same as sand. I know a few people that really can't stand the feel of sand. It doesn't really feel like that. It almost feels Play-Doh-y. But anyway, that is my top tip for this year. Be yourself. Allow yourself to enjoy that kind of thing. It's really easy to put away. You don't need a lot of space for it. And it's a good price. And it nurtures that inner child. You're using a different part of your brain than you would use, problem solving, or at work, which is really good for you. It exercises the mind. It's got great health benefits. I talk about this all of the time. It helps release those happy chemicals, and we all need those. It helps relax you. It helps open up those blood vessels and get more oxygen to the bits and pieces of your body that need it. It helps release tension in your muscles. It takes you away from kind of life, and gets you in the moment. You are feeling the sand. You are concentrating on what you're building or creating, and all of that is really positive. It's really, really positive. Nurtures that inner child. As adults, we don't do that enough. And it sounds airy fairy and, a bit new agey, but actually we get caught up really easily as adults in paying the next bill, or the next problem, getting something fixed, dealing with car insurance or whatever it might be. And sometimes we need to take a step back and see the world as we would have seen it when we were 5 or whatever. It is good for you. It is really good for you, and it gives you another perspective. So wholeheartedly recommend it. I have spoken for a lot longer than I thought I would today, and I'm so grateful you were here, Misty. Honestly, I cannot tell you how relieved and happy I am to have you along for my journey this year. So I'm going to count up all of these labels. I'm not going to bore you with that, but please, if you've been here all the way, if you've made it through this video, thank you for sticking with me. I love you, and I'm really proud of you for sticking with it, and I'm really grateful for you being here. Add a comment, write a comment, tell me who you are and where you're from and what creativity you are going for this year. What are you going to do to give yourself those happy chemicals and be creative and put some beauty out there? Let me know what you want from my channel. If you've got some ideas, if you want to hear me talk on specific topics, then please let me know in the comments. My link tree is at the top. It's in the description, so feel free to use that to support in other ways. You can email me, craftalytical@gmail.com. So if you want to keep it anonymous, you can. Send me some ideas. Constructive criticism is always appreciated, but do keep it constructive. Don't just troll me. Don't be mean. Yeah. Anyway, I think I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you, Misty, for your comments. Mwah. And hopefully I will see you again really soon, getting back to talking about creativity and other things. Please do the YouTubey things. They're down there somewhere. Hit the like, hit the subscribe if you haven't already, hit the bell for notifications so that you'll see when I go live or when I post a thank you, Misty. Yes, please email me, please. Yeah, when I go live or when I post a video. And yeah, Happy New Year to all of you. Thank you so much for being here. Let's get this channel and this community to 100 members by the end of 2023. Thank you very much. Have a great day, and I will speak to you soon.